Arsenal have scored 7 goals from corners. Premier League. There's another one beckoning. Declan Rice goes towards the far stick. Gyökeres is there to put it away. And that's why they brought it to Arsenal.
Oh yeah, it happened.
The dog. I thought you might have come back with Ferrari or something.
No, I've wore Ferrari before. I've wore the red of Arsenal before. I've never wore the red of Albania before, so I'm going to represent right now. There we go. I told you, you're going to wish you never said red. And this was all recording, by the way. So I noticed that the Albanian jihadi come back. And that's all 1 minute. I'll keep it on. I'll keep it all on. It's like 1 minute 46 seconds. It's all staying.
Man.
So let's get it started though. Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Real Arsenal Talk with your hosts Larry and Steve-O. Stevie or Steve-O, whichever, doesn't matter. We've said this before. How you doing? How are you doing?
Larry. I'm happy as Larry.
You definitely beat me to that, by the way, to that joke.
Absolutely. We're in a very good mood tonight, aren't we, for some bizarre reason?
Well, I mean, it's been the past 3 weeks that we've done episodes. We've been in a good mood. And do you know what? People are going to get bored of this and be like, I don't like this side of Arsenal fans being all happy and shit for a prolonged period of time, which we have been. You know, it's been how many weeks since we last conceded? Lost a game, drew a game.
Yeah, we're gonna have to bring it down a peg or two. We're gonna have to get really into some shit tonight, though.
Yes, I mean, okay, we'll get into some shit. I think, well, that sounds a lot more serious than I was anticipating, to be honest, considering how good the team's been performing. But since you're the one who brought it up, let's bring it out.
But just before we started, that before we came on, I was watching someone get a colonic irrigation. Hence why I said let's talk some shit, and obviously that was done to Arsenal and the shit that we've been playing. But okay, Larry. So yeah, do you want to start, mate? Go ahead.
I mean, it's already started. It's already happened. But look, Stevie, and obviously, I know, inevitably we're gonna talk about the performance, right? But I will say this, right? In this particular match, I thought that the first half that we played, there's only 2 words that I've written down that describe the half. Right? Are you ready for it? I'm going to blow your mind. Are you ready?
To begin with an M.
No. It begins with an R, first word, and a D, the second word. So it is relentless dominance.
Not bad.
Right?
Not bad.
Right? Relentless dominance.
Go on, yeah.
Maybe the name of the title of the episode, unless something else comes up. No, I say that because honestly, watching that first half, and just let's start from the beginning, okay? As we discussed last weekend, I was never going to watch the full live match as it happened because there was people around. We took them out, went to Camden Market, which was a freaking nightmare, by the way, if you've never been. And
a long time ago, I've been. Long time.
It was the first time I've ever been to Camden Town, by the way. So didn't know what to expect. As soon as we came out of the train sort of thing, the underground, it was full of people. And we were like, what the hell's going on here? Is someone going on? No, apparently it's just what happens in Camden Town. So I didn't get a chance to watch the match live. But obviously later on in the evening, I did catch the match of the day highlights. And I did actually watch... particularly, I did watch the full first half today as well, just because I realised that was probably the half to watch with the most interesting parts of it. So that's what I came away from that half is relentless dominance, because it was just on it all the time from the minute that the ball kicked off to the second the halftime whistle blew. We were just absolutely on top of it all. And look, I know. You're probably going to say, yeah, but the second half, and other people are going to say, yeah, but the second half. But like I said last week, it's efficiency. That's what we're doing. We're shutting down 2 cylinders to work on 4 rather than 6, right? Or work on 2 rather than 4. And I don't mind that, right? I do not mind that at all, because look at the result. It was a 2-0 comfortable, super comfortable win. And I will caveat that with there was a couple of moments right at the end that Burnley could have they struck the post and whatnot. But all in all, for the majority of the match, I didn't have any issues with the way that we went about it. It wasn't anything to do with laziness from what I saw. All the team were performing exactly to what they needed to perform, to that exact level. Not too much, not too little. So as far as I'm concerned, I thought it was another brilliant result, a good performance, not an excellent performance obviously, but a fantastic result at the end of the day. That's all I care about. And now, because you watched the match live and you have the feelings pent up in there, please let me know your thoughts.
Listen, Larry, look, before we go any further, right, I just want to tell everybody, whoever listens, that this isn't me having to go at Starboy Saka again. But we'll come to him at some point. But yeah,
we'll do that in the player ratings. But
yeah,
because I definitely have a couple of things to say about Saka as well, which no doubt we're in agreement. But I'll tell you what. We'll start it off real quick. We'll just look at the lineup. Any surprises for you from what you saw?
No, that team picks itself really. I think you do know. Obviously, Saliba was injured for the Brighton game, but we knew he'd come back. We knew it was a bit of mind games, and that was basically our strongest 11 bar and possibly Martinelli, and then whoever you wanted to play at left back. But that was probably our strongest 11 bar and Odegaard. Who knows that? But we all know that who was injured and who wasn't. So that was probably the team that we all expected, really.
I totally agree with you. And sorry, just going to foreshadow about the player ratings, right? They are not looking good for Starboy, right? Even flash scores, they're just not looking good. But I mean, look, the team itself, I like how you put that as well. You know, the fullback sort of, you can slot any one of them in there, and they'll do a job exactly like the other one, with a few minor differences here or there, rather either running or obviously defending. But yeah, for the rest of the team, Saliba, I'll be honest, I was a little bit surprised against Burnley that he sort of, not risked, because again, I don't think the injury that he had for Brighton, I don't think that was too serious. But at the same time, if you weren't going to play him, if he got taken off against Brighton, didn't he? Or didn't he play at all? No, he didn't play at all because it was the EFL Cup. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, if you're not going to play him in the EFL Cup, I just felt a little bit like, okay, maybe you can afford to leave him for this match as well, because Nkapia was really good against Brighton, and Mosquera has been really good every time he's come on. So, but at the same time, I wasn't, thinking, oh my God, as if he's just risked Saliba. What is this madman doing? No, it was, fair enough. If he felt ready, and like you said, it could have been just mind games, for the Premier League. It's like, why do I need to play Saliba in an EFL Cup? But let's not forget that EFL Cup was against the Premier League side, and we still managed to come out of it on top. We played decently well, as we've already discussed. But yeah, for me, that's probably the only surprise, but not really a shock. More like, oh, okay, maybe you could have left him for another week. Rest of the team, I know you say Martinelli is probably part of the stronger 11. But to be honest, Trossard has been more consistent this so far. I know we've had our issues. I know me especially have had my issues with Trossard, but I feel like when that guy is feeling the match, he is better than Martinelli. I think he's got more football brains than Martinelli. Yeah. And I feel like that's what makes this our strongest side. But
yeah, overall, I mean, obviously what we're saying is it was what were the two words you used at the start?
Relentless dominance.
Yeah, listen, let's not get carried away. Remember, it was only Burnley, and what we see you smile.
No. I'm just that face was, by the way, that literally we have to face the opponent that's put in front of us. That's
Absolutely.
The way I look at that.
Absolutely, yeah. But obviously, I know what you're saying about Trossard. It was one of his better games. I think I did text you, didn't I? I said that him and Rice were having a very good game. So. But then you have to put into context that it is only against Burnley, a promoted side, but then you've got to say they've only lost, 1 in 18 months or something like that? At home. So, other than Liverpool at the last minute penalty, So they have got a decent home record, right? But at the end of the day, it was only Burnley, and as much as I'm really, really chuffed with the performance, it was Burnley. So the bigger test will probably come next Saturday, which we will get on to. But, yeah. Go on, sorry.
Look, no, that's fine. I mean, that's fair. Obviously, it was only Burnley, but I will say that that record that they had at home, And the way that they usually play, where it's defensive and sort of, they usually will park the bus sort of thing. But I just feel like we have enough in our team to break them down, and I think sometimes it's the smaller teams. I mean, do you remember Luton when we faced Luton a couple of years ago?
4-3,
and that was right at the death of it. Declan Rice scored from the outside. So again, you can never underestimate any Premier League opponents. And again, as much as I will definitely agree with you that it is only Burnley, so we're not going to get carried away. But I just, again, going back to defeating these smaller teams that have caused us problems before, I think we're stepping on these teams. You know what I mean? Like every single week.
We're putting the ghost to bed, aren't we? And like I said, the last time I lost barring Liverpool was the May the 19th, 2024. So, it's a decent home record, to be fair, a decent one. And like you say, we completely dominated the first half. We were absolutely fantastic. We should have been 4 or 5 out of sight, job done. But, we will get on to the individuals, why we didn't put them out to bed kind of thing. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's like you say, we've just got to keep winning.
Yeah, and that's all that matters. And again, it could have just gone. We could have been complacent for this match because it's only Burnley, but we weren't. We were not complacent. We had a very strong team out there. I mean, the team that we played against Brighton, we probably could have afforded to play that team against Burnley.
Yeah, 100%.
Right, and I think we probably would have got away with a 1-0, 2-0 comfortable win sort of thing. Maybe no the real chances, but when you have the strongest 11, there's nothing. Right, obviously, opponents or rival fans or rival pundits, they're always going to, but it is only Burnley, which is fine. That's a prerogative, whatever it is. I'm not going to sit here to change their minds, but you can't, that at some point that has to stop, because then you could say that about every other team barring the top 4 or top 6, right? But that's not really fair, because as we've seen before, the other 16 teams or the 14 teams, they are decent. They can cause upsets. Ask Liverpool. They went 4 or 5 games in the league without a win, and who did they face? Do you know? So yes, as much as I agree with you, like, obviously we're not getting carried away, but it is just putting those goals to bed, like you said. I mean, look, let's start off from the match, and we did score quite early. It was about the 12th minute, wasn't it, when we scored our first goal? Was it about that?
Yeah, it was pretty early. Yeah.
Let's have a look. Let me just make sure. By the way, so 14th minute, we scored the first goal, and the thing is, it's not even about the goal or set piece or whatever it is. What impressed me more was what Calafiori was doing, right, throughout the whole match. What he was doing, and even though we've already discussed our fullbacks and the way that Calafiori plays, to hear Alan Shearer, hearing Aaron discuss the way that Calafiori plays, again, it just adds to our credibility, really. It's like, well, our eyes are not, they're not deceiving us. So, but yeah, I thought the way that he moves across that front line from his original position, which is a left back, by the way, people, let's just not forget that. It is nothing short of just amazing as a player, and I can understand why he was so injury prone, because of his energy that he has, running up and down. Luckily, again, touch wood for us, he hasn't had that issue so far this season. He's been more than comfortable running back and forth. But yeah, I feel like for me, that's what sort of made the difference to that. Obviously, he drew a corner. If on a better day or an earlier touch, he could have even just sort of passed it across the face of goal, but he never touched it. So I went out for a corner. Declan Rice, doing what Declan Rice does, and another set piece, my friend. Piece, ole. So, and
Gabby set it up, didn't he? Gabby knocked it back, didn't he? And then obviously Big Yock was there to nod home, which was nice to see.
You saw that neck movement was incredible, wasn't it?
Watching it live, obviously you're thinking, you just, when you see it, you see goals straight away. Just with him where he was, the 3 or 4 defenders around him, the ball where it came to him was just perfect, and it just said goal straight away, and obviously he couldn't miss. But it was quite, like you say about obviously Calafiori, at one point, like you say, he was playing centre forward, which is just amazing, really, isn't it? To think that we have a left back playing in that position. what on earth? I mean, he probably plays more central than when Havertz is actually playing up front for us, doesn't he? And, Trossard and Martinelli, and these are left wingers, right wingers, or whatever. And he is there in the box where your centre forward needs to be, but he's brilliant, isn't he? Then, of course, we've got that much cover, and we trust everyone, I suppose. He did it against City, didn't he, last year? I'm thinking, would he do it against obviously the bigger, so-called
Absolutely.
more dangerous clubs? He does it, doesn't he?
Absolutely does, and obviously he's just pretty much hanging off the back of Gyökeres's shorts, really. Do you know what I mean? Just sort of Gyökeres is dragging him along with him. But what I've got here, what I've written down is Calafiori makes a striker's run, and that's exactly what it was. Trossard had the vision to see him through, and Calafiori made that run. And again, by the way, not the only time he made that run in this match, but the other once or twice that he did it, he actually had a shot at goal or hesitated right in front of goal. But again, he's finding himself constantly and consistently in those positions to receive the ball, whether he passes it across goal or takes a shot on himself. That's all going to come with it's going to be match dependent. But the way that he moves across that front line, and again, it's the overload for me, because you've seen it yourself. As soon as we have the ball in attack, there's only one player ever staying back, and that's Saliba, right? Everyone else is on the front foot, ready to make movements into the box or cross a ball or receive a second lost ball or whatever it is. So yeah, I think Calafiori and Timber, by the way, they're both making similar sort of runs. They are a massive addition. And again, we even said it before, like a couple of weeks or 3 weeks before Alan Shearer said how important our fullbacks are. We already discussed that, because again, it could be seen, and the only thing that's really going to stop it is an injury. Touch wood, that never happens, but that's probably the only thing that's going to stop it. And they are well drilled, and every time I have no fear now when teams are attacking us, because it's only going to get to a certain point, and then that's it. It's going to get taken off them, it's going to get recycled back to us, and then move forward. So yeah, for me, that first goal was really good. And again, set piece, I don't even know why we even saying it that way. It was a goal, right? I don't care where the fuck it came from. If someone's asshole, I don't give a shit. It's a goal. So yeah, forget the set piece. But obviously, the only reason I say set piece is because people will get triggered out there.
I think it's brilliant, really, when you think about it. The fact that every time we have a set piece, it's almost not inevitable, because I know a lot of people are saying, "Oh, it's inevitable that we might score," but it's almost becoming inevitable that we're going to score, and it's such a great feeling, isn't it? And you can sense it. You probably couldn't initially. Last season, obviously, we were really good at it, but this season, it's more like everybody senses it. Commentators, opposition fans, and the team that we're playing, it's like, oh my God, they're possibly going to score here. It's almost like a penalty, isn't it? Like we said before, it's almost like a penalty. Any sort of set piece, whether it's a corner, whether it's a throw-in, whether it's a free kick, that gets into the box, it's almost like the other team are thinking, fuck, and then it just gets recycled. And if we don't get a set piece, we'll probably score. If we don't get one, you know what I mean? Because that's what happens normally. They're just defending for their lives, and it goes out for it's either a free kick, which we saw against Brighton, where they fouled Saka, and we got the free kick, and there was a goal. And it's like almost like whatever they do, they can't stop us scoring. And I think it just gets.
They could foul us in our own half, and Declan Rice will launch a ball into the box, and it will go off someone's head. Sorry, not someone's, off Gabriel's head. But Stevie, you're absolutely right, and we are treating them like penalties, and the problem is when the only time I'll agree to set piece FC for any team, right, is if genuinely they are looking for the corner or the free kick, right? We are not doing any of that. We are literally playing our game, but because our players are that good, they keep getting fouled. We keep getting free kicks. Declan Rice crosses the ball. We keep going forward, trying to cross the ball in. One of the defenders sort of blocks it or intercepts it, goes outside. Guess what? We've got a corner now, or we've got a throw-in. Right, the corners and throw-ins have been part of the game for centuries, right? For many decades, and all of a sudden, people have a problem with it because we're utilized, or we're using them properly. And it's like, how is that our issue when these have been part of the game? Unfortunately for you guys, you haven't found a way to get around it or to make it worth your while, whereas we have. And the fact that we are scoring outside as well, from open play, it's fine. Like, you know, it's for, like we said before, it's an addition, it's a bonus goals, and this is how much people are aware of it, right, Stevie? Because I watched part of the extended highlights on Sky, then I watched Match of the Day, then I watched first half on Albanian TV because they had a replay of it, like a rerun. So that's 3 or 4 different commentators that I was hearing throughout watching it, and all of them mentioned the percentage of goals that we score from set pieces, Arsenal score from set piece again, sort of thing. Not in a derogatory way, like in a literally commentating way. But my point is that all 4 commentators, right? All 4 of them mentioned, and the fact that even before the cross went in, they even said, "Oh, is this going to be another goal? This is going to be the 12th goal of the season for Arsenal from set pieces," and it was. And again, brilliant, and all the commentators are loving it because they're just like, well, in a way they're going, I don't know why you're blaming these guys. You know what I mean? They're playing the game. They're not going out there specifically. Arteta's not telling his players to be like, right, when you get close to the byline and their box, right, aim for one of their players so we can get a corner. I don't think that's happening, right? Maybe it's just me. Do you think that's happening?
No, absolutely not. No, you're right. And I think when you actually sit and think about it, it's actually amazing the fact that we can score so many goals from set pieces, but it's not as though we are Stoke FC, where they are just a bunch of cloggers. We are actually a very, very technically amazing team. You know, we are one of the best. I don't think we're the best team in the Premiership. I think, you know, City, Liverpool probably are better. Maybe I don't know, individually and passing and as a team, but we're not far off if we're not the best. But we've got that added extra weapon, if you know what I mean, with this set piece, and that makes us probably the most dangerous team in the Premiership, probably because of it. So I know what you're saying. I think it's great, and it's like I say, it's almost like a penalty when we do get set pieces. So, you know, all bodes well. That's right though, isn't it? It's for me. I honestly do not want to talk about set pieces ever again throughout the whole of this season, because it's completely pointless, right? It's completely pointless. People are using it just for the crack and just for banter, really. And you know what? I'm over it now. I don't care. Whatever. Set piece FC. Join in the conversation. Be like, yep, we scored goals, right? Set piece FC, you guys. Stoke FC. Nope, we scored goals. We are goals FC. All right, so get the hell out of here. We've got 15 goal difference, right? We haven't conceded a single goal. How do people calculate that shit? You know, how do you work that out? We are we are the most dominant defensive team in Europe right now, right? There is, I put the only sort of, we beat Atletico, who are a defensive team themselves. The only team that we really got to prove ourselves against is Inter Milan. And when we play them in February or end of Jan, whatever it is, and we beat them, that's when I'll be like, yes, we are now definitively the best defensive team in the Do we play them, do we? Yeah, let's have a look.
Yeah, we do. I think we play them in either January or early Feb, I think. I think it's January.
January 20th.
January 20th, yeah, because I'm looking to try and go to that match again. But
obviously
I'll have a newborn, so it may be a little bit difficult.
Very difficult.
If anyone wants a babysitter out there, let us know. All right, good. Real Arsenal Talk, Larry. Larry at Real Arsenal Talk. But so yeah, that's for me, that's the way I see us right now. And I know you're saying that you think Liverpool and City are better. They're not. They're not. Liverpool have been absolutely trash so far. I watched them against who did they play against? And
Villa.
They beat them. But against Villa. Villa were probably the worst team that I've ever seen in my life, by the way, because it's like genuinely Unai Emery had gone into Arnie Slot and gone, Arnie, right, these are the tactics that we're going to play against you, right? Do this.
To be fair, they hit the post.
I know, but
Rodgers hit the post and Matty Cash had a chance, and I thought they were a bit nervous at first, Liverpool, and then obviously they grew into it, which you knew they would, and I knew they were going to get eventually. They were going to win, because you can't go 4 or 5 games in the Premiership ex-champions and not actually win a game, so you know it was coming. But what I mean was that going forward, Liverpool and Man City undoubtedly are a better team and more exciting. They create more chances, etc., etc. But as a overall team, weaponry with our set pieces and obviously our players, I think that we're not far behind, but we've got the added bonus of the set pieces, which is to our favour as opposed to. But I'm not saying, I'm not trying to take anything away from us as a team. I'm just saying that probably as pleasing on the eye, you know what I mean? We're not as great to watch as City and Liverpool. They go for the jugular. We don't. We tend to try and snare them like a spider as such.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? We get them in the web and stuff, and we bring them onto us, and then we catch them on the counter or whatever, or we get them on a set piece. It's a slow death, what we get.
Yeah, it's
kind of thing.
well, he said it himself, didn't he? I said it, death by 1,000 passes. So there you go. That's.
Well, yeah.
Which is fair. I mean, yes, it works, but you're right. I think. Okay. Would you say we're about 90% a full complete team?
Yeah, I think the only thing that we lack is the dynamism in midfield. I think that we're more of a solid team. We're more of, you know, the way I look at our team is it's a very efficient team, right? It's not the greatest to look at, to watch, but it's an efficient team that very rarely gets beat. It is the old Chelsea team under Mourinho. That's how I see it. And you know, if that wins us the league, I don't care really. But what I'm saying is that City and Liverpool, they go for it. They have the team. They think they can outscore everyone. That's how they look at it when they're playing people.
That's fine. But then again, my argument would be City lost a few matches at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, they've lost 3. Yeah,
Liverpool have lost 4 or 5 because of their defensive incapabilities, really. And you know, Konate and Van Dijk, especially for Liverpool, have been absolutely trash. I couldn't even tell you who the centre back for Man City is, by the way, or centre back pair. Couldn't even tell you. Right?
No.
I know Diaz, maybe. Is he still?
It's Diaz, one of them, yeah.
Yeah, is he still a thing with City? Yeah, I think he's still a thing. So
yeah, he played today, yeah.
So that's what I mean. Whereas you mentioned Arsenal defence, you know, first, boom, Gabriel Saliba. Those two, it's like a double barrel name, really. Do you know what I mean? That's how we talk about them. So again, for me, I feel like we're more of a total football team rather than an exciting team to watch, right? Does that make sense? Like total football, as in like we're utilizing every aspect of the football game rules, like you said, the set pieces, the way that we move across midfield, the way that obviously, you know, we're trying to use every single one of our players when we're going up front. So I feel like we're maybe total football. I don't want to associate it with, you know, with Barcelona, because again, that was different, and those guys were exciting. I mean total football in the sense of like we are utilizing every aspect of the game to get us to the finishing line. And honestly Stevie, I'm going to say this right now, right? Because of the way that Arteta's going about it this season, and if we don't win, I honestly that's it. It has to be the end, because as far as I'm concerned, if you're utilizing every aspect of the game to your advantage, in a legal way, of course, and you don't win at the end, I feel like there's nothing else. I just don't see anything else. You can bring in any other player, or like, you know, Ronaldo at his peak, for example, he still wouldn't do it because of the way that we play the game. But so far we've been that dominant that honestly I'm not even. I said to you last week, didn't I? Against Brighton, when Saka came on, there's something different about Saka when he came on. That maturity about him. I saw the team against Burnley, and again, very mature sort of performance. Even though, like you said, borderline boring, but it was a mature performance. You know, efficiency. That's, like I said, that's what matters to me. They're not using more energy. Like for example, Gyökeres scored. He came off in the second half. As far as I'm concerned, he did his job. Right? He doesn't need to be on that pitch anymore, because we have enough players to actually do that. And the fact that Mourinho came on and he still did some good stuff. He did some good stuff. You know, whatever. He lost the ball right at the end where he couldn't run. Fair enough. But, you know, that cheeky little pass that he gave, but we'll get to it. Right, and one thing I will say about the left as well, by the way, I love how Trossard and Calafiori and Declan Rice, they're linking up together. I just love that trio of movement that they do. Calafiori, if he's got no space, he'll move back out, and then Rice will do that, and then they'll rotate. I absolutely love that relationship.
It's nice the fact that it's moved from the right to the left now, because as we will get on to, unfortunately, the right is kind of gone a bit flat of late, but the left seems to have actually got a lot better. And what you're saying there with the likes of Trossard, Calafiori and Rice, which is great. And, you know, we've got obviously Martinelli to come back as well, which is a bonus for possibly next weekend. I hope he doesn't play midweek. I don't want to risk anyone. I think that's why they brought Gyökeres off and Zubimendi, because they said any slight niggle, you're off straight away. You know what I mean? Like, we've got the depth now, which is great.
That's fantastic. Yeah, that's it. I was just going to say that is the best thing, or the one thing that we were hoping for, the fact that we've got depth now, right? We're not going into games as fans, or even the team, they're not going into games going, oh shit, I wish we had Saliba, and I wish we had Gabriel this match, or I wish we had Havertz, or I wish we had Saka. No, I guarantee no one's even having that conversation. It's literally, you take one out, put one in. It's like a battery cartridge. That's it. You just put them in.
Which is what we've been hankering for the last 5 years.
For a long
time, hasn't it? Yeah.
For a long time, yeah. And real quick, by the way, that you said that, just it reminded me. Interesting fact: we have lost as many. I don't know if you saw this. We have lost as many games at home, right, since 2006 at home than Tottenham have lost since they moved in 2019.
Yes, I know. Amazing that.
I don't even know how that's... Wait, sorry, hold on a second. 46 Premier League games we've lost at home. Surely there must have been more games played than that, right?
46 games at home.
Games?
No, you play like 18 in a season.
I was going to say, like, we've lost 46 games at home. We should have been champions like 14 times. I'm going to have to look at that stat, by the way, a little bit deeper, because there was a couple of sources that reported that, and I genuinely could not believe it, that Tottenham have lost that many matches since 2019, and we've lost that many matches since 2006. It doesn't compute very well. But if it's true, by the way,
I saw that. Yeah,
Tottenham's not a real team, right? You're an embarrassment. Honestly, Tottenham fans, just come over to the red side. Don't even, we won't even question it. We won't even question it. We don't even want visas or IDs, all right? No, no digital IDs from us, all right? You are more than welcome. And look, with Rice, whilst we were just discussing him there, he was everywhere once again, ranked first in pretty much everything that had to do with a football match.
I'm not going to tell you my man of the match though yet, are you? Don't give it away.
Well, I think you've already given it away. You've already given it away, I'm afraid. For me, there's only one man of the match, always.
Oh,
exactly. We'll get to it. But yeah,
can I just say Mourinho was piss poor in my opinion.
That wasn't my man of the match.
I should think not.
Mourinho. You know as well as I do.
Mourinho.
He's only there to do one bloody job.
To fucking stress me out.
Two jobs then in that case. But honestly, when he comes in, I don't think any differently. Right? I don't think, oh my God, we're going to lose, because I do think that guy, you give him half an opportunity, half a sniff in front of goal, he is on it.
Not away from home. Please, no more.
No more, you're right.
No more away from home, please. Fucking garbage.
Before we do, obviously we'll discuss all of this in the player ratings, but I just want a couple of things that obviously I want to get through from the match itself. So obviously we mentioned Calafiori. He had that chance which led to a corner and obviously led to our goal. And then he had a couple more chances before our second goal where he could have 100% made it 3-0, by the way. There was two chances. He could have made that 3-0 just by himself, right? Just by himself. So luckily for Burnley, that never really came through, and he hesitated in the box. When the Trossard crossed the ball in, I was like, shoot! Oh, you just switched it to your left. Oh, okay, right, okay. So, and there was another one where he literally did the same sort of thing, or the pass was a bit too long and he just couldn't get to it. So again, Calafiori for me was absolutely fantastic, and I wish he scored. I honestly wish he scored. And then we get on to your favourite player and to your favourite situation of the match from yesterday, which I have the text. Two texts actually. Do you want me to read it off?
Are we going to talk about him?
I just want to talk about the chances, and let me just go from what you. Okay, can I say it again? ... Saka ... Shit! Exclamation mark. Wait, was there another one? No. Saka has definitely lost a yard of pace, and I'm done with our Starboy. So these are just random comments that Stevie will send me on a random day, on a wet Sunday or something.
The problem with
go on.
Obviously,
tell me how you saw it.
Look, you've already said it right. When he came on against Brighton, he had a bit of a confidence, a bit of a swagger, and he was completely different, and he was like on the ball, he was strong, blah, blah, blah. But it's becoming like a really regular thing, and I haven't got it in for Saka because obviously what he's done in the past. But I've noticed I've got some stats for you for the games and for the season and such. Now, you saw his chances. I think he had one or two chances. He had a couple of one-on-ones, and I think he had one where he should have passed it to Trossard or Eze, possibly. And this is what we keep going back to, the passes when he should shoot and shoot when he should pass. Now, he keeps doing this on a regular occurrence, and his season has, I think, been terrible. He's had a really bad season. He's had 2 assists. He's scored 2 goals, and he's had 2 assists. Last season, he had 10 assists. I know he was injured for a few months, blah, blah, blah. But Rice has 9 assists this season. Semenyo, Pedro, they've got 9 assists. And Rice is a midfielder, for crying out loud. So, I don't know what's wrong with him. I mean, I like him as a player, I like him as a person, but something's happened this season. Now, I don't know whether it's the fact that he's now trying too hard because Madueke's there, Wanyeri's coming good, Eze's there, is he trying too hard? It just doesn't seem to be working out for him. And obviously, you'll have seen the highlights, you'll have seen the chance that Gyökeres put him through, and the chance that he should have obviously passed back to, I think it might have been Eze, and I think to myself, really, we could have been out of sight, and it could cost us against the bigger teams. Obviously, it didn't yesterday, but something's not right. I don't know what your thoughts are on with him. I think you do probably think similar to me. I don't know whether you've always thought like me, but I'm just not convinced anymore.
It's not that I've always thought that way, but for me, I've never rated Saka to the levels that the rest of the Arsenal fan base are rating Saka. And look, that the thing is, right, most of the episodes, as you saw from that comment, but people like, you've got wild takes. It's like, look, you need to listen to the episodes for you to come to that conclusion, because wild takes are wild takes for a reason, right? That's maybe not the truth. Maybe it's a question that you want to float out there, or I want to float out there and see how the people are feeling. But genuinely, when we talk about Saka, especially this season, I just don't think we've changed our opinion of what we're seeing. Do you know what I mean? It's not like he had 2 shit games at the beginning of the season and we haven't changed our minds. It's just I haven't seen much from Saka, right? That's just the way I look at it, and you're exactly the same as me. Whether that's, I want to know what excuse the Arsenal fan base and the podcast that I listen to, I want to listen to what excuse justification they come up with to describe why Saka missed those 2 chances, or why he didn't pass at least one of them.
That's it. Sorry, like a few people. Obviously, I've been on listened to other podcasts and on social media sites, and a lot of people, and I've commented on things, and people are saying, what you're talking about. Everyone has the odd off game, and I'm thinking the odd off game. It's kind of been nearly every game this season that he's had a pretty poor average game. Yes, he was missing for the first few games, and Madueke played excellently, and I can't wait for him to come back, which will be very soon. And I just hope Madueke gets his game, and then we'll see whether Saka is any good or not. And it's not the odd game; it's been every game he's played, he's not delivered. And for a team challenging, he has to deliver. And I hope Mikel Arteta sees it and thinks, right, if you're not providing, you're going to have to be subbed. And do you think he will, or do you think he'll stick with the star boy? Because it'd be frustrating if he does, and that could be, like you say, his downfall. I think Arteta sometimes is bullish, and we saw him what he's did with Aubameyang over the years, but Aubameyang wasn't English. Saka, will he get too much shit from the press if he drops Saka? I don't know, but certainly not up to standard. He got a terrible score yesterday. He was the worst Arsenal player by far. Yeah. But like I say, it's not something that we've thought of out of thin air. It's not as though we thought, we hate Saka. It's all against Saka, is it? He's been great.
Yeah. I agree. But, like I said, I agree with you and about Saka because like I said, we've been watching the matches, man. Like, we're not out here trying. If we were just doing wild takes for the sake of it or just for the crack, right? This podcast wouldn't even exist. Do you know what I mean? Like, we would not be here discussing this. We would just be texting each other going, fucking shit, the whole team's fucking shit, blah, blah, blah. But that's not what we're doing. We're trying to break it down in an analytical way. And unfortunately for Saka, it just doesn't look good, right? It doesn't look good. How come we've never said it about Calafiori? How come we've never said it about Saliba or Gabriel? Every time we come to rate them, they are just bang on. You know, we say 7s, but we explain ourselves. We don't mean 7 as in like because they had a shit game. No, because they did exactly what they were supposed to do. They didn't go above or beyond. Do you know what I mean? So they did exactly what they were supposed to do, and that's a standard 7. Whereas with like Timber, exactly the same. Zubimendi, by the way. You know, no one mentions Zubimendi, but we're always giving him a high score because we're watching what we're fucking seeing on TV. So unfortunately, I do not agree with how these people are loving Saka so much and how much they're riding his dick right now. I'm sorry to put it that way, right? But that's just the way it feels at this point in time because they're not even given any objective analysis, right? Nothing. They're just like, oh, that's our star boy. Okay, well, does that automatically make him immune from rating? No, it doesn't make him immune. So let's just break it down. What did you see about Saka that you liked? Because personally, in this match, especially in this match, I saw nothing that I liked. Nothing. He had 2 chances to fucking put the game to bed, right? It would have possibly been 5-0 if Calafiori fucking done his job. Well, you know, I don't mean, I know that sounded harsh, but I don't mean like that. I mean, like, if he'd actually just scored, it would have been 5-0. You know, Saka is a winger. He's a world, and I'm going to use quotation marks, world-class winger according to our Arsenal fan base and to our other pundits. Why did he not score those? Are you telling me a Messi or a Haaland or a Ronaldo would have fucking missed that? Absolutely never. Luis Suarez, would he have missed those? Absolutely never. They would have just buried those. Salah, by the way.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
He had one chance yesterday.
Exactly. I'll give Salah.
Didn't even control the ball. Just straight in.
Straight in. Done. Exactly. And the thing is, as soon as he touched that ball, I was like, all right, that's it. Same as Haaland. I was watching the Man City match. As soon as he got set loose,
you knew there was no doubt in your mind or mine he was going to miss.
If he'd missed that, right, I think Guardiola would have ran on and just absolutely double kicked him in the chin because it would have been the worst thing I would have. But no, as soon as he got released onto that ball, that's it. I was like, oh, literally, I made that noise. I was like,
game over. Yeah.
And that was that. He scored too easy. You look back at the replay, you think, keeper, what the fuck? But you can't stop that because he's that good. And unfortunately, Haaland has been, 3-4 seasons here? He's 100% world class.
Yes.
Head and shoulders and legs and toes above Saka, by the way. Like, that's not even a comparison. You know, even if they were in the same position, if you know what I mean? You cannot put, for example, Saka in the same conversation as Salah, right? You just can't do it.
You can't.
You cannot do that at all. Like, even when Robin was playing for fucking Chelsea, you cannot do that. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't even, do you know what? I can't even rate Saka higher than Alexis Sanchez. Right?
I can't even rate Saka higher than Anthony.
Wild take. Shit the bed.
Love it. But seriously, come on, Saka, put yourself together.
I agree.
You know.
And I really, really want people who listen to this, right? I want them to just think about the matches that they've watched this season and really think about when Saka took a match, you know, to the sort of world-class status that he's regarded to. When did he do that? He didn't do that. And again, yesterday was absolutely prime example where it's like, right, 100% you should have bet. And if we lost that match, by the way, I would have 1,000,000% would have blamed Saka because he didn't score that shit. So, go on.
No, what you know, we were talking about, obviously it was only against Burnley, so that made it even worse, the fact that it was against Burnley. You know, he can't even score against championship, opposition. It was also, it's like Man City, Liverpool, or Real Madrid, or whatever. It was against Burnley, and he couldn't score, and he had a shit game. And like I say, when I was mentioning to you that he'd lost a yard of pace, I don't know whether he'd just give up. There was a point in the corner flag. I don't know if you saw it right at the very end. He blocked a shot and it came off him and he thought it was going out and it hit the corner flag and didn't go out. Instead of thinking, I'll chase that down, he just kind of gave up and left it. And he just didn't look as though he was as quick as what he normally is, because he is quite quick, isn't he, as a footballer? But, yesterday I thought, what's wrong with him? Whether he's depressed, it's something not right. Is there something definitely not right?
God, sorry. So I was on mute there. But yeah, I like I said, I agree with you, mate. There's nothing more that I could. Did he finish the game, by the way? He finished the game, didn't he?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, he finished the game, because I can't see him being subbed off. And honestly, that goes back to what you were saying. Is Arteta man enough to take him off? And why didn't he take him off, right? Why didn't he take Saka off? What did he do, or what did he see that
He was poor.
Exactly. You know, he had absolutely no merit to be on that pitch, by the way.
No, unless he was trying to run him into the ground to get another injury.
Maybe, and then obviously he doesn't have to make the decision. Decision's made for him.
Yeah.
Clever. I love it. He's playing 4D chess. I love it.
Yeah, you never know. But you never know.
Look,
Big Mick,
he does some shit, right? I tell you. But at the same time, obviously, look, you know, we joke about that sort of part of it. But yeah, I don't think he's been up to standard for this Arsenal team. Everyone else around him has absolutely outshone him. Like, you know, shown him up, outshone him, whatever you want to call it, whatever words you want to use. They have been absolutely miles better than Saka has. Obviously that second shot that he missed, Trossard runs in, that gets blocked, which is like fair enough. You know, I'm not going to be too mad at that because there were players obviously, you know, waiting at the goal line. But I feel like Saka should have just put his first attempt away rather than it doing that.
It was a one-on-one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's the worrying thing. It was a one-on-one, and I mean, it's obviously you don't know in hindsight, and you obviously haven't got the benefit of having another go if it was the York, because obviously the York passed it through to him, and that's obviously the beauty about what the York's doing now. He's winning. He was against two defenders, and they played obviously Saka through perfect, and you think if it was the York on his right foot, it would have been buried, because the York hasn't had any one-on-ones like that, has he yet? He's had corner shots, half shots, head-ins, knees in, tap-ins. He hasn't had where he's been one-on-one, and we've seen the best of him because no one's passing it to him. Yeah, he's doing all the work, and this is the issue. But you know, anyway, we'll get onto that. We'll get on to his game.
Lack of service, and it has been for a while now. So sometimes we just have to maybe rely on the set pieces, especially for someone like Gyökeres to score a goal. You know, because he's not getting the service. That's probably the best service that he's going to get. But again, I think in this match, I thought it was fantastic as well before he was subbed off, to be honest. And like you said, I'm glad that he got subbed off because we don't want him injured for the midweek match. Was it Slavia Prague? We'll play against Slavia Prague.
Yeah. So do you know what? I would probably rest him. I know Big Mick won't. I think, but I would rest him against them because, okay, we don't need to win it, but I would just stick cement boots up front, and I would save the York for Sunderland, because that's more important to me, because we've got 9 points in the Champions League. We probably need another win, I would have thought, and we'll probably qualify.
What is the threshold before we
It's about 12 points, isn't it, I think?
Okay. So
look at 12 points to get you. Yeah, so we need one win, really.
Yeah.
And we've got 4 games left. I know we've got Bayern and Inter, blah, 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 but we've got a couple of easy ones as well. I wouldn't risk him, personally. But yeah, they brought him off because he had a slight muscular issue, you know, because he is putting himself about. He had a great first half, like you say. Probably would have got another one if he'd have stayed on, I would have thought. But no, I can't shout high. I really, really think he's doing a fantastic job for the team. But yeah, well, I don't know what you want to, if that's enough on the game, or do you want to talk about the second goal, or?
I just want to quickly mention the second goal because just the way that it happened, and again, it just shows how good Gyökeres actually is for the team, not just for individual player. Gabi clears the ball, 35th minute or 34th minute, whatever it was. York takes the run from his own half all the way through, and it's funny because was it Rice running through the middle and then Trossard running on the left?
Yeah. So the York crossed it, didn't he, to Trossard? Yeah.
A massively long cross field. It wasn't even like a cross. It was just a cross field pass. Like it was a
nice pass. Yeah.
It was, but initially, I bet you thought same as me. Like, what the fuck did he just do there? Why did
Where's it going?
Why did it hit so much? But again, even like obviously, like the commentator said, or I think it may have been Shearer at the end. It was like Gyökeres saw that Rice couldn't go anywhere. He just made sure to spray it out to Trossard, who ran directly onto it. We didn't have to wait for it. He just ran onto the ball, and then obviously crosses it in, and Rice, gets ahead on it, like bang, straight up, 2-0, the end. Yeah, and again, this is the play goal.
Yeah, when I saw that actually happening like live, I knew that was a goal. And the beauty about obviously Trossard, the fact, because obviously if that was Martinelli, he hasn't got a left foot, as he, so I don't think Martinelli could have put that on Rice's head. He'd have cut back inside and crossed it with his right. But because obviously Trossard's he's 2-footed, the left foot, the way it curled in, Rice connected with it perfectly because it had the right amount of weight on it. Whereas if it had been the other way, if it had been a right-footed corner, and he wouldn't have been able to get the power because it was, if you know what I mean, it was going that way, and he just headed it perfect. But as I was watching that live, I knew it was a goal. As soon as it left his head, knew it was a goal. Yeah. Perfect. And yeah, like you say, it's an open play goal, which is, we know we can do, and that's the beauty about it. You know, our set pieces are a weapon, like a penalty, blah blah blah. But our open play, once it happens like that, it's fantastic. It's just having them players that can execute those crosses, those passes, and have the players in the right position, place at the right time.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, again, just it was a split second when the ball misses Rice, and I'm like, oh my god, did he just overhit that? And then within seconds later, the ball comes back in and Rice crosses it. And again, I agree with you about Trossard and the way that he can use both feet. He can cross with his left. And again, Martinelli, unfortunately, that's something that he can't really do much of. So, but yeah, I just quickly on the second goal there, and second half, I'll be honest with you, I liked what Nwaneri did for a couple of for the time that he was on. He had some nice runs. He had a nice spin from midfield. Chose to shoot. Do you think maybe a pass to Trossard would have been better?
Who was on the right of him? Was it? Who was in the best position? Was it Eze or was it Trossard on the left? And
Trossard would have been.
Yeah. He probably. Look, he was, his adrenaline was flowing, wasn't he? He would just like sort of took 3 players out and he was running towards goal. Yeah, a bit more maturity, probably could have laid it off, put the game to bed. But yeah, he was probably a bit ball greedy. But you know, we were cruising well. We were 2-0 up, and it wasn't long left. So like 10 minutes left.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I like what he did, to be honest, because he showed a bit of initiative, and it's like, okay, on another day he probably could have got that goal in, which is fine. And like you said, Trossard, yeah, it would have been a safer option for him to get the goal. Absolutely would have been. But at the same time, you know, he's a young player. He wants to take that chance on, and I cannot disagree with that. And I like what he did because he's been good when he's played. I've seen him. He's played good, especially when he played against Brighton in midweek. That second half, I thought he just had a fantastic performance. But you know, so not much really in the second half that I want to talk about, apart from obviously, you know, Burnley had a couple of chances. We just sort of checked out. But again, don't say checked out with the meaning of like, oh, we just didn't care about the match. It's like, okay, well, this is it now. Let's defend. Let's do our minimum defending, and we'll get through this game without any sort of, you know, exerting any more energy. But is there anything in the second half that sort of caught your eye?
The only thing that concerns me slightly is obviously Big Yock went off. Obviously with Marino coming on, obviously I thought he had a piss poor game. I thought he was pretty shit at holding the ball up, give the ball away quite a lot of times, and I just thought we lost something in the second half. Now, who else came off? Did Zubimendi come off, or did he stay on about the 80th minute? Can you sort of confirm who? Because
2 seconds.
Someone came on, so the Yock came off, didn't he, at the half time?
So Marino comes on for Gyökeres. 72nd minute, Nwaneri comes in for Eze. And then 72nd minute, Nkapia comes in for Calafiori. Yeah. And then Zubimendi, 77th minute for Norgard.
77. I just thought...
And then Trossard.
Even when Eze went off, I know we haven't really spoke about Eze. I didn't think he had his greatest game, but I thought we lost something in midfield when he came off, as well as the Yock. I thought, obviously, Eze is very strong. He's a robust sort of player. Same with the Yock, that players bounce off them. And I just thought we lost a bit in midfield, because when he's technically skillful as he is, he doesn't win many sort of duels, as he one-on-ones. But you know, we still obviously had Rice on there, but Nkapia I thought played really well. But no, we kind of lost our way. I don't know whether it was because Eze and the Yock went off, and they grew into the game. They had a bit more possession. I think they only had one shot on target, which I think hit the post. I don't know whether that counts or not. But no, other than that, we just sorted it out professionally, didn't we? Really, I don't think there was anything else to write home about. I know you're saying Eze didn't have his best game, which I agree, he didn't have his best game. But at the same time, you know, at the same breath, you said that when he came off, we lost something. So it's kind of like, well, he had a Zubimendi style game. Do you know what I mean? Where it's like you didn't notice him that much, but he did things that other players just couldn't replicate when they came on, like the Marinos and the Nwaneris.
But again, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, that was a brilliant performance from Eze. We'll jump onto the player ratings right now, actually, since we're segueing onto that. Shots on target, none for Burnley, by the way. So that's another match where 0 shots on target from Burnley, from the opposition. So if you want to count that Crystal Palace one as a shot on target, by all means. But I just don't. Yeah, I don't know if you watched the replay. I think I sent you the replay, didn't I, of that shot on target from Crystal Palace over the weekend. The ball comes in and Raya goes out and catches it, and they gave it as a shot on target.
Yeah, but it was going wide.
It wasn't even anywhere close to Eddie, by the way.
No, yeah.
So anyway, but again, it goes to show that not only are we doing stuff up front with the set piece and so on, but we're defending very well as well. So, and every match is showing that. And looking at these stats, it just seems almost unfair. It just seems like they're facing a school team or some shit. But there you go. So it is. There's nothing close. Nothing close. Shots on target for Arsenal, 8 total shots, 12. 2.4 goal fucking XGs or whatever it is. So I'm not going to get into the stats because, again, we don't need to. The eyes do the talking. Right, we'll jump onto some player ratings as quick as we can. And where do you want to start it off this time?
Do you want to do the York or not? Do you want to start up front again?
Of course, let's do it.
Okay. I'm going to give him, obviously, because he played 45 minutes. I still want to score him out of 10 because I thought he was that influential in the first half, and he was really good. So I'm going to give him probably 7.7. Just the fact is he scored a goal, he did a lot of runs, he held the ball up fantastically, and he just looked like a complete player for us. I thought he didn't give the ball away. He wasn't clumsy or anything. He was strong, and he was just determined. And I just thought on a better day, if with a bit better service, he probably would have had another goal. But for 45 minutes, I thought he was really up there with man of the match. One of obviously him and Rice for man of the match, but 7.7. I can't really give him any more because there's other players who've got slightly better scores than him for playing the full game. But I don't know what your thoughts were of him.
From what I watched and his contribution, he's easily going to get an 8 from me. He's got a goal. He made runs, like you said. He found himself in the right positions, and we genuinely missed him at the end in the second half. And like you said,
we did.
Yeah, Eze came off, Gyökeres came off, and I think that those two made a hell of a difference in our team. Even though they haven't scored Eze very well here, but we'll get to that very shortly. So for me, yeah, I think it's a safe 8 for Gyökeres. I think the 7 automatically gets it for the goal, but then I have to add an extra rating because 1 star because
we missed him, didn't we?
Yeah, he was brilliant. He really was, and I'm glad that he's part of our team. Do you want to do Trossard real quick and then spend a bit of time?
Yeah, no, obviously Trossard to me he was top 3 for me. So obviously I've got three players in my top 3, and he was one of them. So I'm going to give him an 8, just for his industry. He was dead skillful, dead tricky. He hardly lost the ball. Normally I'm quite critical of Trossard. He sometimes hangs onto the ball too long, and I'm thinking, fucking hell, get rid of it. But he was great up against Walker. I thought he didn't really give him an inch. And sometimes you can look at players who they play for, and you can kind of feel a bit inferior, but I thought he did really, really well. He was just a thorn in their side. I thought completely opposite to Saka. He looked like the one that was going to create something. He had a couple of shots on target, didn't he? Yeah, probably could have done a bit better, and he probably could have passed it on one occasions, but I'm not taking anything away from him. I thought he was pretty good, and yeah, I'll probably say an 8 for me.
That's fair. And you mentioned Kyle Walker there was that couple of incidents, wasn't there, where Walker sort of like pushed him, and I was surprised that Trossard never got a free kick because it just seemed a bit naughty from Walker, and then obviously Trossard replied in kind. And the ref, fair dues to him, he didn't dish out a yellow card for either one of them. He knew that Trossard was going to do that anyway. A bit naughty from Trossard as well, because
with his kick up, he kicked out like a kicking mule or something.
Exactly. So it's like, yeah, okay, I know obviously you're pissed off, but let's just be careful how you do the paybacks, if you will. But yeah, for me, Trossard 7.8, and again, once again, we'll agree with you that he was probably top 3 for man of the match, and I'll tell you mine, but very shortly. But yeah, 7.8 from me, just because again, couple of chances where again it felt like a bit he hesitated to pass the ball, and obviously the miss there. It's like, okay, I understand how you missed it, but should you have really missed it? Probably should have scored that, as far as I'm concerned. But so yeah, it would have been easily an 8.5 if he'd scored that goal. By the way, I would have rated him higher than Gyökeres because obviously he finished the match. So, but yeah, so far I feel like the Gyök was an 8. So. Right, okay. Now, so these guys have given Trossard a 7.2. They gave Gyökeres an 8.7. Which it's a bit. It's fine.
I can see why, but obviously
the fact
he
they never
played 45 minutes. Yeah,
I think that should probably be a caveat for our ratings as well. Like the players that have finished the full 45 minutes, they can be rated out of 10.
Yeah.
And the players that haven't, rated out of 8 or something or whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
Saka, right? Because obviously, because you had some nice words to say on a message, I'm going to let you crack on with this one.
Listen, I don't want to get into any more detail. Everyone knows what my thoughts are on him, and I'm not rating him, but they've given him a 5, and I think that's generous, and that's all I'm going to say on it.
Really? These guys are giving him a 6.2.
No, this is Sky. Not Sky. Sorry, it's someone else. Sky have actually given him a 7, which
that is outrageous.
What on earth are they watching?
That is outrageous. That's 7.
Yeah, Sky gave him a 7. There was someone else, and they've given him a 5. I can't remember what it was. Now it was on a different site. They gave him a 5, which I thought was probably still generous. So that's all I'm saying on it. You know, everyone knows our thoughts.
Yeah, there's no way. Even the 6.2, I know it's low as it is, but I can't realistically give Saka a 6.2 after that. So I'm going to meet the scores in the middle. I would go for a 5.5 just because he was there. Okay. And again, he had the 2 chances, which kind of pushed him to a 5.5. If he didn't have those chances, that guy would have been a 3, I'm telling you. But no, I just don't think he had a good match at all. And like I said, I cannot wait. And I will clip it up as well. I will clip all these podcasts up who make justifications for Saka, right? Because I guarantee they're coming. But I'm really intrigued to hear what they got to say. Yeah, not good enough. Again, not good enough. Declan Rice.
Okay. Declan Rice, all I can say with Declan Rice is he was my man of the match by a fucking country mile. It was probably his best game, barring the Real Madrid game, in my opinion. You know, he scored 2 and he was fantastic against Real Madrid, but yesterday, wow.
Yeah.
I don't like... I'm not as great as a fan, and you probably, obviously, if people listen to any other podcast, I'm not as great as a fan. I don't think he's worth 105 million, but yesterday he was worth every penny of it. He was outstanding. I can't say it any higher. He was outstanding everywhere. Man of the match for me.
Yeah, I agree. He is my man of the match as well. Even though I probably would have put another player, which we will get to, just for my love of this player. But yeah, I think Rice. These guys are giving him 8.6. I think that's a bit harsh. I'm going to go with a 9.
You got a 9 on Sky, yeah.
I'm going with a straight 9 because he was absolutely. Do you know what? Let me just have a look at his stats real quick. So, what did he have? Shots, okay. Stats, yeah. So passes, top.
He was first in every department.
Single department. Tackles won 5 out of 5. He was absolute
carrying the ball. He was first on everything. Yeah,
everything. And obviously, I know Ashley Williams broke it down as well, didn't he, with the stats on Match of the Day. But yeah, he was just brilliant. So 9 easily from me. And yeah, he I'll give him man of the match because he was 100% deserving man of the match.
Yeah.
But the other player. Again, I'd give him 98%. But yeah, so Zubimendi?
Do you know, I thought it was one of his better games as well. I was purposely watching him just purely down to the fact that I was wanting to see what he actually does. Can he do anything different?
Did exactly the same.
And so what I was finding when I was watching it, I thought, fucking hell, yeah, you're so calm on the ball. And what I really, really like about him is he uses both feet and he doesn't have to take 2 touches. If a player's coming towards him, he can use both feet to pass it perfectly. And honestly, I'm so glad. I didn't think I'd say this, but I thought he was an average player for Sociedad. But for us, he's kind of excelled, and he just keeps that midfield together. He knits it together so well. And obviously, when I was watching him yesterday, I was like, he was purring, and I was thinking, oh my God, what a great technical player he is. And left foot, right foot. just great. I can't really explain it really, but I was thinking, what is it that he does that's so good? It's just his left and his right foot is so calm. One
Literally
touch,
everything, right? I agree with you, Stevie. And I did exactly the same thing when I watched the replay. I was like, let me just have a look at Zubamendi, see what he's doing. And I think when I was watching him sort of carefully, I think that's when he made a couple of interceptions, and he sort of ran back to literally to intercept the ball, which basically turned us back into attack. And I think it was maybe the Saka chance, or maybe a Saka cross or something. So again, after watching that, you're right. Just like, just paused myself there for a second. Just like you, I think, what does he actually do? And what he does is stuff that, it matters in the team. And I don't get this whole Caicedo is the best midfielder in the Premier League business, by the way, because are we forgetting about Zubamendi? Like, he has actually been rock solid for us.
They're different though, aren't they? I don't want to talk about Caicedo, but he is very tenacious and he is a good player, don't get me wrong, and I would have liked him at Arsenal, but he's a dirty little cunt. But with Zubamendi, he does like a tackle as well. I've seen him sort of get his feet. I mean, he got yellow carded yesterday. I mean, it was probably a bit harsh, but he does like getting stuck in, doesn't he? And he's good at breaking play up as well as being technically like a Rodri, if you know what I mean, but he's a bit more probably nimble than Rodri. So he was great yesterday. And we always say he's a steady 7, but I was going to give him a 7.5. Just purely down of what I watched and what I saw, that how great he is. I hope he's not injured, because I know he come off. They reckon it might have been just muscular as well, more like fatigue. So I'm just hoping, if we have to rest him and just keep him for Sunderland.
Yeah, totally agree. 7.5. Yeah, I'll have to go with the same, to be honest, because he's so good in that midfield. And look, for me personally, I don't really see the extra hype on Caicedo, to be honest. I never really rated him. Like, he was good, don't get me wrong, when he was at Brighton. And yes, during that summer, it would have been nice to have him, but I just don't feel like the money that was spent on Caicedo is worth it. And again, you can't be the best midfielder in the Premier League if you're having on-off games. I don't know how that works. Whereas Zubamendi has been more consistent. Then, like you said, probably different roles and the way that they're asked to play, which is fine. But then again, Zubamendi, like you said, he makes tackles. He can defend.
He does,
He defends very well. So it's not something to sort of take lightly. And personally, I don't see why the massive love for Caicedo when Zubamendi exists. So anyway, that's just my opinion. People don't get mad out there. But 7.5 sounds about right. Moving on to Eze. These guys are giving him a 6.8. Bit harsh.
Okay, Sky give him a 7, and
I agree with that.
And I think, like you say, I mean, obviously, I didn't think he had his greatest of games, but we did mention that the fact is when he came off, we did look like we missed him. So he obviously is doing something, and that's probably why he is as good as he is, because of his strength. And you miss him, and that's when you know that the sign of a good player is that when he's off, you think, shit, he's off and we haven't got him, kind of thing. And that's the, because when obviously Odegaard goes off, we actually look better. And even though he's our captain and you think, Odegaard's a better player, we actually missed Eze yesterday more. But again, in a different position, I think obviously you saw him. Did you see him when Rice scored the header and he just sort of clapped? I don't know whether that's just Eze's demeanour, because obviously he's very laid back, he's cool, he just sort of went like that, didn't he? He sort of applauded Rice's headed goal. And I sometimes think, I want everyone to score, I want everyone to be happy. And I sometimes think if you're scoring goals, you're going to be happy. I just don't want him to get his head down. I don't want him to, become a bit despondent. The fact that, he's getting taken off and he hasn't scored a goal, he hasn't contributed, he hasn't set up. Do you know what I mean? It's like...
Yeah, you don't want his like you said, you don't want his head to drop. But I feel like he should walk away from these games feeling proud. To be honest, apart from a couple of games this season, I can't remember who they played. Was it
Fulham?
Fulham, yeah. The Fulham game, he was fucking terrible for that one. But apart from that, I thought Eze, and I think Eze has been really good for us. I have no real doubts about his talent and his quality. And again, it's just gelling with a new team, and I feel like he's done that very well. And again, yesterday's match was proof of that, to be honest with you. Because again, like just as you said at the top of the episode, you didn't really see him there But then when he was off, you felt the absence of Eze. So yeah, I think that's probably again another compliment. Same as what we say about Zubimendi, right? You know, you don't really see him, but he's there. He's doing the things. If he's off again, Zubimendi came off, so you kind of seen the difference in the way that we played and a bit more cautious. And I think it's the fact that once those players come off, it's very difficult for the players on the pitch to play with the same level of trust with the players that have come on, like a Marino, for example. You know, yes, he's good, he scores goals, but do you think Saka, for example, is going to trust Marino more than he trusts an Eze? You know, that's obviously not going to happen, which might be right, might not be right, whatever it is, but that's just the way it works, I'm afraid, you know. So
do you think when Odegaard's fit, do you think who does he drop? Who plays?
It's going to be tough.
It's a tricky one, isn't it?
It's going to be absolutely tough because, you know, can you really tell Eze to sit down because he hasn't played well? No, you can't. You can't make a case for that. So I think you know, again, just going back to the overall team, it's not about who do we play instead of this guy. It's like we have someone else instead of this guy. Do you know what I mean? I know it's subtle difference, but it's like, I don't mind. You know, if Odegaard is the club captain and he has to play because the club captain, fair dues, right? If Eze has to play because Odegaard needs a rest, fair dues, right? It doesn't bother me because we are at the level now, we're at the stage now of our team building where we're not bothered, right? I don't care who plays what. Like 2 seasons ago, Odegaard, yes, I held him as like the best player in our team, but then gradually he sort of dropped, but not because he's dropped in quality. Every other player has raised their quality, and it's like they're matching each other now. So Odegaard doesn't stand out too much. Unless
do you think? I hope that's true, because it's like, if that's the case, then when Madueke's back and Havertz are back, you know, does Saka get dropped? He should really, because obviously level.
Maybe dropped is the wrong word, because I don't think they're going to be dropped, but I think they will have what is it, like Madueke, he will have his chance. Havertz will have his chance, and unfortunately, it's up to them. If they're not if they're not slotting into the team straight away, because look, even though with Ben White we're saying like, oh, he's not up to speed, but he's getting up there now. He's getting up to speed. Do you know what I'm saying? Because he's not playing so often, it's going to be a bit more difficult for him to get up to speed. But at the same time, would you cry about that? No, you wouldn't, because Timber's doing a fantastic job. But you know, we're always aware that we need a backup for these good/great players, and the way that the team's been built, and from what I've seen so far, with everyone getting involved, like the Dowmans and the Nwaneris and the Miles Lewis-Kellys and stuff, yeah, I have no doubt that Arteta will do a heavy rotation. But would that be a heavy rotation, like, you know, in the classical term where you put the youth in? No, because we literally have a second team waiting on the bench for us once Havertz comes back up.
Do you think? Sorry there, Larry. Do you think that Arteta will rotate for rotation's sake? And if not, do you think he knows his best 11? Because sometimes you can just rotate just to try and keep everyone happy, but that not necessarily might be the best team. So sometimes I think to myself, well, do you just play your best 11 and then you rotate only if that one of those 11 aren't doing the jobs? You don't just rotate for the sake of it, I don't think. You've got to keep your best 11 to build momentum for a start. So that's what I'm saying, is obviously we're winning now. We've won, what is it, 9 in a trot or something like that. Does Odegaard come back into a winning team, or does he keep with the winning team? Does Madueke come back in even though Saka's not doing the job?
I think with the Saka-Madueke situation, I think Madueke comes in for Saka, to be honest. Not because Saka's going to get dropped or anything. I just feel like the rest needs to be a bit more of an extended rest for Saka, for him to get himself back up to speed. Unfortunately for Odegaard, he is the club captain, so it's going to be a bit more difficult for anyone to sort of start above him if he's fully fit, you know? Whether that messes up the team dynamics when he comes back, I don't know. I obviously standard, I hope it doesn't, but we won't know until Odegaard is back, and well, I think that's pretty soon, isn't it? I think it's soon, December time, I think
they're all due back for the Spuds game, which is after the international break, isn't it? I think they're all kind of due back, because the Sunderland's the last game, isn't it? And then it's the international break, unfortunately. And then obviously the Spuds game is the first one after that.
Got that crap again. Right, okay. Right. Let's move on. So with Eze, by the way, so 6.8 from them. I feel like a 7. You said a 7. I feel like that's perfect.
Yeah.
Right, Timber.
He was top 3 for me, man of the match.
Okay.
He was one of them. I thought he had a fantastic game again. They have gave him... So they've given the whole back 4, barring Gabriel, a 7. So that's all I'll say with that, even Riot. I thought Timber was spot on, blob on again, fantastic. Yeah. Doesn't put a foot wrong. Again, he's like the Zubimendi. I don't think he did anything different. I wasn't sort of purposely watching him like I did with Zubimendi. I just thought he did everything so efficient. Doesn't give the ball away, doesn't flap, doesn't get out of breath. He was virtually playing striker, like I think we spoke about. I think Shearer spoke about it. How he was found himself in the box. Fantastic. I think it's amazing the fact that we've got 2 wing backs that sometimes play centre forward. It's fucking amazing. Like the opposition was thinking, who the hell do we mark?
They're not even. I was going to say they're not even wing backs, like in the traditional sense. They are actual full backs. You know what I mean? So they're supposed to be the defending, and the way that they're playing is unbelievable. But it goes to show how much. Because obviously we saw Arteta's been blamed for being a defensive manager, but then when you actually think about when we have the ball attacking, how many defensive players do you actually see in our defensive half? 1, right? 1, and that's Saliba. Because he's like, I genuinely think Saliba's like, I can't be asked going up there. You guys take care of it. You know what I mean? I think he has that thought. He's like, whatever. Gabby, do you want to go up? All right, you go up. I can't be bothered this time. But again, because they are that good and they have that much of an understanding with each other that they don't need to have a discussion about who's going to go up where. They already know that. And yeah, so I just don't understand how we can be blamed for being a defensive team when you look at all the squad and they're literally parked or camped in the opposition box. Like you said, you've got your 2 fullbacks going in there. Gabriel goes in there for the headers, and all the midfielders are in and around there, apart from maybe an Eze or a Rice who are just hanging about the outside. Everyone is in the vicinity of the box, right? How can we be blamed of being a defensive team? It's crazy. And you said earlier, like a Mourinho side, but what's wrong with that? Mourinho's team conceded 15 goals all season. 1 loss, 15 goals all season, to the point where people are actually, fucking brazen enough to compare it to our invincible season, right? Even John Terry was like, oh, yeah, but, we only lost 1. Yes, John, you've just said it. You've lost 1. We lost 0, my friend. 0.
Yeah,
so
yes.
Screw you. But yeah, so I think, for me, Timber, I think I'm going to have to give him a Zubimendi score of 7.5 because he was just that good again. And it's very, very rare where we talk about Timber or other fullbacks in a negative sense, because it doesn't happen at all. Okay, look, Gabriel, I'm guessing, got the highest score from...
You got an 8.
You got an 8, yes, same here, you got an 8.
Timber got a 7.
Timber got a 6.8 here, which I thought was fucking harsh, by the way.
Sorry. Saliba.
You got a 7? Oh, yeah, okay. That's right.
Saliba got a 7. Timber got a 7.
Okay. I'm happy with Saliba 7, to be honest with you. Yeah. Gabby got an 8 because of the assist.
He got an 8, yeah. Yeah, he got an 8. I thought he had a good game, to be fair.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, he went... This is when you rate these defenders a bit higher, when they score or they assist, because they have gone above and beyond what they're supposed to do, and Gabriel literally did that. Literally did that.
Although he got a yellow card right at the end.
He did, yeah, which...
Potentially needy.
It was.
It was, yeah.
It was definitely a yellow card, and he was lucky, by the way, that they never looked more into that. And he's lucky that it happened at the time that it did, because it would have changed fuck all. It would have made no difference. But that did lead to the free kick.
Hitting the post, yeah.
So it could have been very close. Was it Kevin Edwards or something, or Kenny Edwards or something? Like whatever, it doesn't matter. But that was a cracking shot. So I'm happy with Saliba's score, by the way. Again, not really, I don't need to say too much about Saliba. He was back, played a full match.
Yeah,
no issues.
Very good, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So
no
it's one of those things. Gabby, we just discussed. And for me, Calafiori, by the way, he's got a 7.4 here, but I want to put him up to an 8. Just because...
You fancy him, don't you?
I do fancy
love him.
I do love him. I think the guy is
Big Ricky.
Fantastic.
Ricky!
He's so good to watch, though. Like, when he runs and just, wow. And again, the way that he finds himself in those positions, I probably should give Timber an 8 as well, because they are mirror image of each other. But for Calafiori, maybe his hair pushes him to an 8. So that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's the jawline,
cool eyebrows, and
jawline and hair. Very jealous, by the way. Very envious of that shit. So there it is. But yeah, I thought he was another brilliant game, and for me, he was the second man of the match for me. Like I would have easily given him man of the match if Rice didn't score, but there you go.
Yeah, I'm not feeling the same love in him. I'm not fancying him as much as you. Obviously, Rice for me, and then I've got Gabby, Timber, and Trossard. They're my sort of top 3 players. Really, Calafiori had a good game. Don't get me wrong, he did have a good game. I wouldn't have put him personally as high as Rice or even Trossard, to be fair, because I thought they were my 2 man of the match, Rice and Trossard. Big Gabby did well. Calafiori, I think he just had a steady game. You know, he was up front. He did win the corner.
A couple of chances. Yeah, obviously, he probably should have scored. Really, whatever.
Yeah.
So that's why. Again, above and beyond of what his role is. So that's why.
If he scored, like you say, yeah.
If he scored that, then I think an easy 9 man of the match without even discussing Declan Rice, to be honest. But. Yeah, okay. Again, same as you, in agreement, apart from the fullbacks. I go with Calafiori, you went with Timber, but Trossard, definitely had a case for man of the match as well. And David Raya, he did his business. Another clean sheet for him. I don't think he touched that ball because it hit the post. I don't think he got fingers on it.
To me, like you say, I think people joke about him, don't they, saying that he's on the beach and he doesn't have to do anything. He didn't actually do anything, did he? To be fair, he passed it out a few times, did a few long kicks, which were quite good, I think, at times. But we can't really say anything. He didn't really do anything a bit nervy. He wasn't
nothing above and beyond. Let's put it that way. Yeah,
let's move on.
Yeah, absolutely. And for the others who came on, Marino, I know you weren't a big fan. For me, Nwaneri, they gave him a 6.6. That sounds about right. Nkapie and Norgard. Obviously, Norgard had that chance near the end, had that shot, which was, again, it could have been another goal. But am I going to hold that against him? Absolutely not. I'm not going to hold that against him.
Who else? Come on.
And I'm glad that Norgard, by the way, is back now and he's able to finish off these games. So it kind of like baseball where they've got the closing pitches and stuff like that. So again, we've got our closing midfielder, and I like it. I like the way it works. And Nkapie was very good as well.
He's great, honestly, mate. That's his second game, and I do believe that he will be an absolute star for us, especially against the so-called better teams. I think he's a no-nonsense defender. He's a bit like a defender, virtually, like of Gyökeres. He's like that sort of similar ilk. No holes barred. He's straight in, bang. Yeah. No messing.
I agree. And again, to be honest, you can make a case for you can make that same case for all of our back line. They are.
I love it. My only concern, just quickly, have you got any more thoughts to say about the team?
No. I'm done with the team. Yeah,
you're done. Yeah. Basically, I'm just concerned. I don't know about yourself. I'm concerned with the intensity that we're putting into the games. Now, I watched Liverpool win last night. Obviously, Liverpool came from 10th to go fucking second, the jammy bastards, and obviously City came from 9th or something, or 8th, and they've now second. Now, what concerns me is that we are winning. Look, we have got this 6-point lead. It's only 2 wins though, and I just think they are gathering momentum. I know they play each other next week, so hopefully they'll slit each other's throats. I don't know what your thoughts are on this, but it's like, with that sort of hell bent on not conceding, I'm hoping that if we do concede, it doesn't knock us back mentally, if you know what I mean, because we've got this record of not conceding, and it's like, right, let's just keep, but we are going to concede. It's inevitable that we are going to concede at some point. It's how we react to that, isn't it? Can we then go on and score, and can we maintain that push, or will we cave in? Which, that's my only fear. Do you know what I mean? For the next sort of 3 to 4 weeks, obviously we've got the international break, and we've got some tricky games coming up. Obviously we've got Sunderland away next weekend, which we should theoretically beat them. We've got obviously a game away, and then we've got the international break. Then we come back and we play Spuds at home, and I think then we play Chelsea away, and then we've got a couple of easy games at home, Wolves, I think. But I'm just concerned for these next time we concede. I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, look, no, we're top of the league, 6 points clear.
No. Like, you make a fair point, and let's face it, our performances have been a bit, clinical. They've been a bit, sort of white coaty, if you will, like made in a lab sort of thing. So any contamination could 100% throw us off that. Like, I agree with you. It's a concern, Stevie. It's a concern that we've had before, but I feel like all the concerns that we've had so far this season, they're sort of, they've popped up and we've just slapped them about. Do you know what I mean? Like, literally, like the whack-a-mole sort of thing. They pop up, we put them down. So Yes, it is. It can be a bit of a concern because of, like I said, because of the clinical nature of how we're playing games, but at the same time, you know, as long as we're carrying on with this sort of momentum, it doesn't really matter what momentum the other teams have. And again, I've seen them play both teams. You know, if Haaland isn't scoring, no one's fucking scoring, mate. Right? No one's scoring. Liverpool, if you've seen it yourself, if Salah and Van Dijk and Konate, for example, if they're not playing well, guess what happens? Fuck all happens. They lose games. Soboslai is not the guy who we thought he could have been. You know, he's not this game changer. Do you know what I'm saying? Especially against us, it was that wonder goal that's the only thing that he did in that match, and he hasn't really done much since then. McAllister, the only thing that he did yesterday was basically almost get a penalty because he got shoved in the throat by, was it Onana? I think it was, wasn't it? So he got shoved, he got shoved in the throat, and that's the only thing that they did. So for me, when it comes to Liverpool, the reason that they won yesterday, it wasn't because they were good, it's because Aston Villa were absolutely garbage, and Unai Emery overthought the match, where he's like, oh, well, every other team has won this way, so let me try a different way of winning, even though this way is proven and they've lost. So,
you probably thought, we beat Man City, we can do the same with Liverpool.
And they probably could have if they actually play like the rest of the fucking teams, if they play like Palace. Do you know what I mean? So, again, it's very, very frustrating when I was watching Aston Villa, because it's like other teams have set a precedent against Liverpool. How are you not pulling these tactics down and using them in your own team? They just looked fucking lost. And again, they broke it down perfectly on Match of the Day for Aston Villa. Why? Why were they trying to pass out from the back? Pau Torres, probably the worst game from a player I've ever seen in my life. He was terrible. He slipped twice to let them through.
Not do that against Liverpool. And obviously Martinez gifted that goal to Salah.
Oh my God. But that was Pau Torres because he slipped, and that was the second time that he slipped and led to a mistake. But it shouldn't have even been an option. Do you know what I mean? He shouldn't have been an option for Martinez. That ball should have been launched upwards, like forwards. Ashley Williams mentioned Ollie Watkins. I was like, Ollie Watkins played. Did he play? I don't know.
Yeah.
I still don't know to this day, unless I look at the team. I have no idea. So again, it wasn't so much that Liverpool were good, it was Aston Villa being very, very bad. And Liverpool, look, they're a good team in general. They're always going to capitalise on mistakes. And they did. Salah, he's an assassin, mate. You know that, I know that. Like, you do not give Salah that gift of a goal, only one thing was going to happen. And it did. So the inevitable happened. If you play shit against Liverpool, the inevitable will happen. But just take precedent from the other teams. They've literally set that for you. For blueprint, use this to beat these guys. And I hope Pep doesn't overthink it either, by the way. Because if Pep overthinks it, then it's gonna be just a terrible watch for Liverpool to fucking win.
What do you think will happen though? Because obviously it's at City, isn't it?
Look, it's going to be an interesting game, and I want
to draw. I don't want anyone to win. I don't want anyone to get any momentum going. Absolutely. It's got to be a 4-4 draw with Haaland breaking his leg, Van Dijk breaking his arm. Kind of hope, isn't it? Really, that's what happens.
So I don't think I'm not as concerned. I get the point why you brought it up, but I'm not as concerned because of the other teams, and I just feel like, without taking too much away from us, because we have been very good, I just don't think the other teams, like our direct rivals, have been very good. I saw the Chelsea-Tottenham match. Chelsea won. They were, oh my God, one of the worst teams, especially in the top 6 to watch, is Chelsea, because Maresca is a crap manager, right? I don't care what anyone else says, Maresca is a terrible fucking manager. I do feel sorry for Thomas Frank, because it's not really working out for him at Tottenham. I know they were winning and stuff like that, but their performances have been fucking diabolical, to the point where it was like our performances when we had Emery. Yes, we were winning and went on a winning streak, but
we actually went on an 11-game unbeaten run, didn't we? So we've actually won 11 in a row with Emery. We've only got 9, so are we going to beat it?
I don't care. I'm not bothered. Like, for me, it's obviously it's always about the bigger picture now. Because if we start breaking down like, where we're going to be in December and November, we may be second by the end of December, but we win the league in May. So, it's very. We've been through enough as Arsenal fans with speculations and stuff like that to start carrying on, to entertain that business anymore. So for me personally, I'm not as concerned. but at the same time, I understand that it could fuck up with their mentality. Like, ooh, we are breakable. Do you know what I mean? We are the Titanic, sinkable. so yeah, it obviously, Stanley's going to remain to be seen, but yeah, not really that concerned to be.
Well, I think what worries me, obviously, Sunderland, bizarrely enough, can go second if they win tomorrow. That's the kind of the strangeness about this league. And then we play them, and if we play them and they beat us, they're only 2 points behind. But then if City beat Liverpool, they're only 3 behind, and then we play Tottenham, and
it becomes complicated for sure. It becomes complicated, but again, don't break it down like that. Don't break it down like that.
I want us to keep that 7-10 point gap.
Yeah.
Going into the new year.
Yeah, I agree. Do
you know what I mean? And then it's like, then the other team will have a dip. It's just, I just don't want us to have a dip. And the other team to think, right, jugular, like Man City. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? That's what will probably happen. We slip up and they're in, and then they don't. They'll be relentless after Christmas. Do you know what I mean?
I agree. And like I said, it's something to definitely, think about. But am I going to lose any sleep over that? I don't think so, because again, unless these guys start performing to their old selves like 2-3 years ago, I'm not really that concerned. I feel like we've got a very good team to manage all of this, but let's remain. Like I said,
a lot can happen.
Let's see what happens. Right, Stevie, do you want to do a quick prediction for the Slavia Prague match, and then we'll leave it there for tonight?
Let's have a look. So
we play on
how are they in the league? Are they like fourth bottom or something in the Champions League? Are they like, what's their sort of current stats?
Let's have a look, my friend. So Arsenal, Slavia Prague are 28th. So yeah, they're desperate for a win to even have a chance.
It's a 5:45 kickoff, isn't it?
Yeah, 5:45 kickoff. I'll be probably leaving work earlier. Whoops. I'll be sick by then.
What have they done in there? Who have they played, and what's the results been? Have you got it anywhere?
Let's have a look. 1 second, please. I think I can get this here. So fixtures. They're in the Champions League. Oh god, not fixtures. Sorry, results. My bad. So in the Champions League, they drew against Atalanta. They lost to Inter 3-0.
Where at home?
So they lost to Inter at San Siro. They lost they drew against Bodo Glimt. That was in the league phase, and that was at home. So yeah, it hasn't been a good run, in all honesty. They haven't won one match in the Champions League yet. They've drawn 2, lost 1. So it's not looking good for them, I'll be honest. And I think they'll be desperate for a win, so they could go balls out, using all the dirty tactics and so on, which again, I don't know, because I can't remember the last time I saw Slavia Prague fucking play. So, when you put them against us, in theory, should be an easier game, but there is no such thing as an easy game in any competition. So
no. But just as long as there's no injuries, that's all I'm bothered about. No injuries, and just a sort of a clean sheet would be great. If it's 0-0, it's 0. But as long as there's no injuries, ready for Saturdays.
Yeah, just we want a clean match, basically. That's what we're asking for. And luckily for us, there are some excellent games in that evening. Liverpool, Madrid, PSG versus Bayern. I don't have enough TVs. I'm going to have to do split screen. I don't know.
Fantastic, wasn't it? Fantastic. Then we play Bayern, don't we, as well, when we come back? Whoa, that's going to be a great one.
And we said in the last Champions League pod that we did say that Bayern is the next challenge that we need to whack them all, basically. A ghost from the past. So if we do that, then I honestly feel like we are on course to potentially win something. I'm not going to say what competition, but we are winning something this year. I don't know what it is yet.
I think that would be the final hurdle. I think if we can somehow beat Bayern, I think that all the ghosts, all the demons will be back, and it'll be, we've got this. We can do it. We can beat anyone. Yeah,
literally just taking a weight off our shoulders, and it's like, right, that's it now. These are the challenges. Everyone else is going to be just what's in front of you, rather than historic.
Absolutely.
Unless we play PSG, and then it's like, well, we kind of owe you a win here, so a loss, whatever. However, anyway, right, okay. If there's nothing else to add, maybe we will leave it there, because it's been an hour and a half, as always. 90 minutes of pure chat. We will leave it there. For everyone listening, thank you so much for being here, for bearing with us throughout these 90 minutes, and hopefully it's been a better 90 minutes than some matches out there. But please hit the like, hit the subscribe, leave a comment, all that kind of nice stuff. It helps the podcast being found. And catch you on the next one. Till then, stay safe, stay alert.
Au revoir. Oui, oui. Si, si.
Love it.